When you first have an idea for a game, it's often pretty complex. You might imagine a story with lots of interesting graphics and enemies, but the core of the game is usually very simple. And this core is the first thing you want to test out before you distribute your game to a wider audience. You want to make sure your game foundation is strong by testing it out with a small group of players. To test your game core, you need to create a minimum viable product, which is the simplest, most focused version of your game. Minimum means it contains the minimum amount of features that encapsulate the game, no extra levels or graphics. Let's look at some examples of a minimum viable product. Consider the game Megatroid, which is a platformer game where you jump through stages, getting upgrades and shooting robot enemies to advance levels. You can even generate your own playable levels. This game has a lot of fun features, but what do we need in the minimum viable product? Level creation? No. Enemies? No. Weapon upgrades or even weapons at all? No. These are all extra features that can be added later in the game. To test the foundation of the game, we need to remove all the enemies, items, and extra levels, all the things that are nice to have, but not necessary to have. And what we're left with is a single jumping platform game. To make a Megatroid minimum viable product, I would include just a single level where I can move and jump and fall into pits. I might also include an easy restart for the game. This defines the basic structure of my game. These are the minimum needed features, and they're the most important to perfect. We want to test this version out and make sure that the game movement is as smooth and high quality as possible. Then we can add enemies and upgrades later on. So when you're thinking about what to include in your minimum viable product, think about what features are needed for your game to be entertaining and what can be added later.